This is the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
Good evening and welcome inside the RebZone. Kevin Bollinger alongside Running Rebels head coach TJ Otzelberger coming off a big win on Saturday over Robert Morris. And Coach, nice to send the Rebel fans into Christmas with a little holiday cheer.
Yeah, excited for the passion our guys played with, and thought a guy like Marvin Coleman, local guy, really stepped up, and the energy and the enthusiasm, rebounding. I was really proud of our guys and their effort.
Well, let's show you what happened in this one with the highlights, where UNLV put their foot on the gas in the second half.
A starting lineup change as TJ Otzelberger sits his starters minus Mbake Jong and puts in guys who don't normally get a lot of minutes to spark his team. It worked early. Marvin Coleman with the steal and layup on the other end to get UNLV going. Then Mbake Jong scores inside, and Coleman again with a jumper. Vitaly Shevil was effective early, working his man down low and scoring. The next time down the floor, Shevil does the same exact thing. The reserves holding their own and setting the tone. Robert Morris showed that they were going to hang tough in this one. Savion McEwen dropped a triple, and Josh Williams hit a three of his own. That would give the Colonials a 17-16 lead. Back came the regulars, and they had more fight in them. Donnie Tillman rips away the rebound and scores inside. The good ball movement over to Jong for the slam. And then another similar sequence. Jong gets the offensive rebound, the putback, and the pat for the three-point play. He did the same thing the next time down the floor with the board, bucket, and bump. 2 3-point plays giving UNLV a 4-point lead. But back again comes Robert Morris. In transition, A.J. Branna gets the hoop and the harm. The Colonials had a 35-34 lead at the half. The Running Rebels would open the second half on a 6-0 run. Sheba with the jump hook. Offensive rebounds leading to a Jay Green bucket. And Sheba again driving and putting it down. UNLV regained the lead and never gave it up. The nice move by Nick Blair for the hoop. Tillman feeds Green for the lay-in. And more ball movement to Jong, and he throws it down. With 12:27 left, Jonah Antonio hit a three, the first triple of the game for UNLV to keep the streak alive. Tillman drives baseline, he gets the and one. Coleman with the sweet reverse for the lay-in, and then he backs it up with a triple. The capper, this alley-oop late. UNLV shoots 55% and has 4 players scoring double figures as they pull away from Robert Morris, 81-69.
He just made it clear that the guys who want to play will play. The guys who are going to play hard and do all the right things and do what he tells us to do are going to play.
Constant emphasis on continuing to keep the energy, bring the energy, keep doing what we've been doing. Don't let your foot off the gas. Got to put 2 halves together. So we just made an emphasis to make sure we keep doing what we've been doing, and it worked out for us.
We didn't play a great game against Pacific, and we had to come back and show who we are. We haven't played a full game of 40 minutes. We're playing our type of basketball, so we had to come back and we had to show our fans, show ourselves, and show our coaches what we can do.
Let's dive into this one, but before we get into the game, let's talk starting lineup. Very clearly a message was being sent by that lineup that was out there. Why did you think the message had to be sent, and do you think it was received by the guys that needed to receive it?
Early in this season, we've had some adversity in our program. I've always been a believer that adversity reveals character. And so we've had some challenges. We've had a lot of hard-fought losses, games where we laid it on the line and didn't come up successful, where I was really disappointed in our effort against Pacific. To me, the gratitude and humility we need to have for this opportunity needs to be at a high level. And I felt like that was something that didn't happen against Pacific. It's really personal to me when people can see us not try our best. That's unacceptable, and we're not going to tolerate it. And so I wanted to make sure that the message, the life lesson, and that was today our guys need to understand how important that is. I'm in this, I'm a teacher and leader. As much as I love coaching basketball, it's teaching those life lessons. And I think our guys know what our program's about, and they need to have that humility every day to take on their daily tasks and work to that level. Really happy guys stepped up today and showed that.
Will you have the answer as to whether they received the message immediately, or is this something that you need to see kind of long term?
Yeah, I think it's a long-term thing. I think, for us, it's the habits you build every day. If you're going to have a championship team, you have to build championship habits every day. And right now, that's not where we're at. And so we need to work really hard to get those in place. And we're going to continue to make decisions as we move forward to try to develop this program. We didn't come here to be mediocre. We didn't come here to settle. We came here to be elite. We came here to be at the top of the Mountain West. And we've got to do everything in our power to get this program there as quickly as possible.
You mentioned Marvin Coleman at the top of the show. Here's a guy who walked on and a local kid, and he's earned minutes. It's not just because they've fallen into his lap, and he came through with a big game on Saturday.
He did. I mean, it's always great when you have the player on your team who wants to win the game the most. And I think the passion he displayed, the leadership, how he commanded the whole game. He led us home even at the end with some big shots and big plays. And can't say enough great things about Marvin. And hopefully he'll continue to play with that level of leadership and passion and confidence, because it was really special what we saw out there today from him.
What we did see, too, is UNLV hitting the boards hard, especially on the offensive glass. A more concerted effort by this team to hit it hard there.
Yeah, we've talked to our guys a lot about in most situations we crash 3, sometimes 4, and we've got to have that relentless effort and that resiliency every possession. And I think we saw that a lot today. And truthfully, Jay Green was somebody that really got that started for us. I mean, he kept a lot of balls alive early, got us other opportunities, but it was across the board with Donnie Tillman and Bakke and Nick Blair and Vitale. Those guys were relentless, and it paid off for us.
There was also a lot of ball movement. There have been times this season, you'll be the first to admit that the offense has gotten a little stagnant, and then you get under 8 in the shot clock, and then it's kind of a press the panic button. But in this game, the ball movement was really good in terms of getting the ball around until we had an open shot or a guy that had an open lane to the hole.
Well, I think we saw early in the year what we wanted the ball movement to be like. And I know West Coast Baptist was an exhibition, and in our first game against Fort Wayne, the ball really moved. To me, what happened is once adversity started setting in and we didn't get that immediate gratification of the victory, we got a little bit more of an individual agenda, and the ball stuck. And it puts us in some tough spots. We get our shot blocked too much, turn it over too much. We need to be more willing passers and to share the basketball. I thought we got back to that a little bit today. It wasn't as much on the perimeter as it was trying to get that ball side to side into the post, but our guys did a really good job. We had a really concerted effort. Proud of them for being intentional to throw it in there, keep it moving.
Well, let's look to Wednesday now and go back and take a peek at the game against Pacific, where things just did not go the Rebels' way in the second half. Damon Stoudemire brought his Pacific team into the Thomas & Mack for a midweek showdown with UNLV. The Runnin' Rebels welcomed back Jonah Antonio after missing 6 games with an injury, but it was Nick Blair who was the sharpshooter from 3 early on to get UNLV out of the gate. Then Blair with the move to lose his defender and score, as he had 5 of the Rebs' first 7 points. Watch the ball movement as Amari Hardy to Blair to Mbake Jong for the slam and the slap. Neither team, though, could get any separation early as Pacific hung tough. Off the turnover, Dennis Jenkins pulled up for the jumper. Then Justin Moore hit a 3, and then another to beat the shot clock as the Tigers went in front by 4. Bryce Hamilton had a tip-in to knot things back up, but this play was an example of problems all night. 2 offensive rebounds by Pacific, which led to a 3 by Jabril Price-Noel. From that point, though, UNLV ended the half on a 13-4 run. The steal off the inbounds pass, and Hardy gets a finger roll on the other end. Then just before the break, Hardy drives for the lay-in. The Runnin' Rebels led 35-29 at the half. Antonio started the final 20 minutes with this triple to extend the lead to 9. It was all downhill from there. Gary Chavichian hit back-to-back 3s to cut into the lead. Pacific seemed to kick it into another gear, and UNLV didn't respond. Pierre Cockrell, the no-look pass to Shaquille Fritz for the lay-in. Fritz gets the follow slam off the missed lay-in, and off the turnover, Justin Moore goes the other way for the hoop and the harm. The nail came courtesy of Jaleel Tripp for 2 in the tap. UNLV was beat in nearly every statistical category, and they fall to Pacific 74-66.
let this one slip. They played harder. They out-physicaled us. They did a lot of good things, and we just didn't bring it. So we just got to make sure we stay together and bounce back.
So the thing that jumps out to me in this game, you had a 9-point lead after Jonah Antonio hit that three with a little over 19 minutes to go. Pacific put it into another gear, and UNLV didn't match it in that game. I know you weren't happy about that.
No, I think our effort our lack of effort was inexcusable. We're not going to tolerate that. It's not this position to me in leading this program. I've studied this program my whole life. I am so humble and honored to be the leader. And we're going to have young men in our program that play with that tremendous sense of humility and gratitude for this program. And that was alarmingly missing against Pacific. There really isn't anything else to say outside of lack of effort, inexcusable, intolerable, and it's my job to correct it and correct it right away.
When you see something like that, as a coach, do you question, because they always say you can't coach effort. Some guys have that kind of urge to win and have that inside them. Some guys don't. Do you have that question with any of the guys on this team that they don't have that fortitude that they want to win at all costs?
Well, I think some have it and some have it if it's going their way. If their shot's falling or they get the basketball or it's going the way they'd like. What we need is people who are relentless with their effort regardless of what's going on in the game. And for us, I think early in the year that wasn't the issue. But what happened is the losses start to pile up. You lose 3 overtime games, another close one to SMU at home, and guys start to question things and agendas start to seep in, and then everybody starts to have the answers to how to do things. And so it wasn't a problem early in the year. And so now for us, we're going to really focus on that effort piece. I think, look, with some individuals, they bring it no matter what. I think we've seen a guy like Mbake Jong over his career. I don't think anybody's ever questioned effort from a guy like Mbake, and so we need to all play that way regardless of if our shot's falling or if things aren't going our way, and we will play the guys that can demonstrate that, because that's what running Rebel basketball is and will be, and that's what the standard we're going to uphold.
Well, speaking of Eastern Michigan, it is the only game on the schedule next week. We're going to talk to Coach about that and break that game down straight ahead in the RebZone. Stay with us.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by RC Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
Welcome back inside the RebZone. The Running Rebels with only one game this week. It's a noon game on Saturday afternoon at Thomas and Mack against Eastern Michigan. This is a good ball club that's coming in here. They're not sneaking up on anybody. These guys can play.
No, they're really good. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They started the season 9-1. They are one of the top teams in the country at generating turnovers and getting steals. Up to this point, turning the ball over has been a little bit of a challenge for us. So we've got to do a great job handling their zone defense. It's a 2-3. They're very aggressive in it. They'll look to gamble for steals and make plays out of it. On that side of the ball, it's really important. On the other end, they're a team that gets fouled a lot. They pretty much lower their shoulder and drive it right at you. And so you have to be able to guard the dribble, keep it in front of you, and keep them out of the paint. So really good team. They're playing at a really high level. We've got to answer the call and be at our best, because it's going to be a good game.
In terms of them, you said that they will draw a lot of fouls. This is a team that hadn't gone that deep onto their bench during the year, 7 or 8 man rotation. But on Saturday, you did play a lot of different guys. That could be beneficial on Saturday. If you do get into some foul trouble, you can go a little bit deeper in your bench than maybe you had in the past.
Definitely. I think we found we have more depth than maybe I expected or anticipated. And we'll need to do that, because it's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a game that comes down to us winning the rebounding battle and getting the 50-50 balls, taking charges, all those things. And what we did find is we have some more depth. We're going to continue to develop that depth, create those opportunities, and go from there.
You talked about scheduling earlier. There are a lot of coaches out there who like to put a cream puff on the schedule right before conference play gets going. Eastern Michigan is no cream puff. Important for you to have a test right before you, a few days later, start racking it up with the Mountain West teams.
Yeah, I think so. And to me, I'm always going to want that challenge. I'm always going to want to play really good teams. I know Eastern Michigan isn't a team that's in the Pac-12 or the Big 12 or one of the power conferences. At the same time, they're really one of the really good mid-major teams out there across the country. They've got length, size, athleticism across the board. Their perimeter players, except for one, are all 6'4", 6'5". And so it's going to be a challenge for us. Hopefully that will prepare us heading into Mountain West play.
Time for us to take another break. When we come back, we're going to have a feature on our local guy, Nick Blair. That's on the backside of the break as the Red Zone rolls on.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
There's an old saying that you can never come home again, but that certainly doesn't apply to Nick Blair, the Bishop Gorman star, back in Las Vegas for another season, his final season with UNLV, and he's ready for some home cooking.
Watch this play and you know everything you need to know about Nick Blair, the basketball player. Now, know that this came late in a game where UNLV was up by more than 50 points, and you grasped the leader he is. Messages sent by actions, not words.
My first thought was, go get it, do the best you can, and if you can, save it. And initially I was like, Marvin's in front of me, let's see if I can get him this layup right here. I was able to give him the layup, but it was definitely just a message that, if you just go out there and play hard and just do all the things that you're supposed to do, effort, everything else will come along the way.
Blair is the ultimate grinder who has worked his tail off for everything he's accomplished.
It's good for me because it makes me have to compete against myself every single day. It makes me have to wake up every day. I can't just show up. You can't be the grinder, the hard worker, the hustle guy, whatever you want to call it, just that guy that just helps get the team going a little bit more, bring energy. You can't just show up and it's just going to happen. You got to be ready to go at all times. And it's like everybody has different jobs on the team, everybody has different roles. I take my role just as serious as anybody else.
Blair's journey began in Las Vegas, where he was a star and captain for Bishop Gorman, winning 3 state titles along the way. After accepting a scholarship to Idaho, Blair played 2 seasons for the Vandals. Then he decided to come home and transferred to UNLV as a non-scholarship player.
Thought myself, maybe it's a chance for me. I have an opportunity to play back home. And I got fortunate enough after, going through the summer process all over again, that a chance came up and I was able to come here.
Blair had to sit out one season before playing 19 games last year. When the coaching change happened, Blair had another decision to make. But his meeting with TJ Otzelberger made it a no-brainer.
Talking to TJ when he came in, I trusted him, and he looked me in my eye. We had a nice, good conversation. Just kept it all the way real, from not just player coach talk or trying to tell me what I want to hear, but tell me just how it's going to be, how it's going to go, and just keeping it real honest with me. And I respect that, and I trusted him, and I just felt like I can definitely believe in someone that's going to do that for me and for everybody on the team as well.
Blair earned a scholarship for his senior season. For him, a validation.
It was a good feeling to know that, the hard work and persevering through, a tough time in that little area, leaving to go play at a tougher conference, a tougher schedule, challenging myself to go against the odds, basically, and people that may have thought, why would you even leave in the first place, to go ahead and show them that I'm capable of, getting something out of this. And, I was able to accept that challenge, and it was just great. It was heartwarming for the family, and it was very satisfying for me to know that I was able to do something like that.
Now it's about ending his college career with a bang, playing in front of family and friends, and perhaps most importantly for Blair, being a part of the foundation that brings his hometown school back to prominence in the basketball world.
Everybody wants us to win again. They want us to get back to that pedestal that everyone knows that we could be at and where they wanted to be at. Just that feeling of putting on that UNLV with pride and, being happy about it. We want people to feel that way, and we want to feel that way. And then on top of that, being from Vegas, it would only just mean the world to me, just because I want to show and help everybody else know that I care about the city, I care about the brand, I care about the history of what has happened here. And just to be able to do that would be amazing.
I've been doing this show a long time. Nick Blair might be one of the best interviews of every player that we have interviewed. He is very articulate. He's well-spoken. This is the kind of guy that you want as a leader.
Well, we want young men who love our community, this campus, this program, this university, and Nick's one of those guys. He's a tremendous person. He's got great character, leadership qualities. He's a winner, and just really fortunate to be his coach. I think the world of him. He's doing great things out there for us each and every day. More than that, he's going to be a leader in this community for many years to come.
In the piece, we showed from early in the season, you guys were up 50. He dives for a loose ball, knocks it to Marvin Coleman. We got his perspective on that. As a coach, I'd like to get your perspective on when you see that and the message that sent to everybody else on the team.
I mean, it tells everybody how important it is to put on the Running Rebel jersey. When you put that jersey on, what it means, the passion you have to play with, regardless of the score, regardless of what's going on, there's one way to do things, and he set the tone for our program. That's an impactful play that all of us remember, and it was at a time where most guys wouldn't get on the floor. Says a lot about Nick Blair. Really proud of him for doing it.
We're going to wrap up the Reb Zone right after this with your Running Rebel Plays of the Week. We're back in 2 minutes. Stick with us.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
All right, Coach, Merry Christmas. We'll see you next Sunday in the Reb Zone. We'll see you back here as well. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Here's the Running Rebel Plays of the Week. Good night.
The RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.